Hello and statutory engineer, chartered engineer. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India, and this talk, this video is addressed to all over the world, though it's particularly also addressed to our engineers in India, Bharat, and to all our engineers working overseas, and also otherwise you can say generalized community of civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, etc. Because if you see title of this video is relevant to computations, calculations, quality, safety, organizations, and whatever is there. It's focused on that. Focus is that, and that focus is very, very important. Our focus in our field of engineering is very vast, very complicated, and particular as well, specific. If we do not understand this point, we can't work practically. If we can't, I'm just getting some problem here again. So it's there, right? Okay. So just some spots on that. I clean that one. So my idea, I was saying, engineering profession is very complex. Time has gone when professions were limited. Now every profession is having many sub-professions in this, some disciplines in this, sub-branches in this, and on top of that, coordinational professional, communication professional, and you can say specialized formalizing professionals. You can say professions within professions and professions within professions. If I say I'm a civil engineer, it doesn't say anything in particular because it contains many engineering disciplines and sub-disciplines within it. And yes, specialization is a must. Indeed, we can't do without that. But specialization alone doesn't mean anything, because specialization alone doesn't give you results. It doesn't give you function. You may be very expert, extraordinarily outstanding expert in your profession, in your specialization. But that specialization, that expertise must move to reality. And that you can't move because you are bound by your activity, but someone else shall move that, and your work should be open to someone else. That's very important. You spend a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of technology, lot of design, formula, codes, and you go using mode of communication, that is drawings or specifications or whatever means you use for purpose of absolute and total communication. This communication, whatever you submit or you command, it must reach required required professional, and that required professional must have a capacity of your authorship to be transferred to be transmitted to frontline organizational functionaries. When I say frontline, it says actually warring area where we fight with work, we fight with actual work, we fight with reality, and we fight with physical activities, because we have to fight on focus. You can't fight blindly. In designs, there are options, you can change something. In specifications, you can change something. So in design of whatever work you do, in design of specifications, in design of many other activities, there are options, alterations, and there's no there's no binding. Only you have to do that. Result is more important. Result, economical result. It's not simple result. You cannot give a result which is not optimized, which costs more time wise or money wise, or you can say prosecution of which costs quality costs also. That's very important point. It's very complex world, but frontline owner of work, frontline professional and paraprofessionals like foremen, like general foremen, like junior engineers, like charge hands, like you can say operatives who are directly responsible for result delivery, for achieving targets. They have no option. Your work has to be transmitted, to be given shape by those people who are not qualified or educated or expert like you are, as a professional engineer, as a chartered engineer, as a design engineer, or whatever you can say, means as a competent professional. Those professionals on front line, they are mixed lot, from site head, you can say site agent, or project engineer, or project performer, or whatever designation you can give. You may say site executive engineer or site engineer, to whom would report many other professionals, disciplinary and subdisciplinary and interdisciplinary professionals. That professional who is responsible for direct activities got no major options, no major alternatives, because that person, that professional, and that professional's crew is bound by all such requirements that your documents, your designs command. Those must be given, those must be complied with. There is no way you can avoid compliance. Compliance is very important in quality system. Whatever system you generate, IS 9001, 2015 or other one, you have to comply. Professional has to comply. Designer has to comply. Whatever systems you generate, planner has to comply. Procurement engineer has to comply with. Quantity engineer has to comply with. Quality engineer has to comply with. And whoever they must comply with. Compliance is demanded, not requested. It is demanded. It has to be delivered. There is no assurance only, but also mandate that should be done. There was a difference in IS 9001 2008 and IS 9001 2015. ISO 9001-8 was little, not that little liberal, that it just pulled its clutches only frontline people of quality system and site system as well, while 2015 ISO 9001 has different approach. It mandates why exclusive that person in front, quality engineer or quality manager. Why not head only? Why not head of company? Head of company. You may say chief executive of company, organization. He is also involved. That person is also responsible. CEO or who is head of execution as well as quality. They must be jointly and severally held responsible because they are also involved in organizing work, organizing material, organizing human resources, organizing systems, organizing technology, organizing matter statements. They are all involved. So IS 9001 2015 thought lot and shifted responsibility, absolute responsibility to that division head or overall head of quality system as well as prosecution system. So though other systems have been given some ease, like certain mandatory documents were converted to optional documents. Certain optional documents were given more freedom. Like example, site plan, site manual, safety plan, safety manual, quality plan, quality manual. These were mandatory according to some format requirement in domain of ISO 9001 2008, but these were taken out from that mandate and much responsibility was left to organization itself. You define yourself. Even documentation. Documentation, we used to say document control center should be there and document control should be there. That is also given some relief. So you can say about 75% documents, project documents were mandated to be maintained in system of 2008 were given relief and responsibility was passed to organization itself. Yes, you have some system, this you have to maintain and this is up to you to maintain, but it's intellectually done. But without those optional documents you can't work. And if you make them optional documents, adopt them, you have to comply them. Comply to prove they have complied them. Option is yours. You use them or you don't use them. If you can work without them, you have to prove you have worked. You have to prove. And if you adopt them, then you have to follow and comply with them. Both are same. Because if you don't use documents, other documents are there, project documents like specifications, like field, like designs, and of course method statements are available. So you can say if you go to list of those ISO 9001A, 2008, 2008 and 2015, you will find a lot of difference. But ultimately responsibility has been augmented because it was quality lower profile engineers who have responsible along with site execution team. But now, to be very frank, people are not clear. Certainly responsibility is higher now. Higher organizer is involved. Because why? Who does procurement? Site people rarely do. Then who is involved in human resources? Site people rarely do. Who are involved in designs? Site people rarely do. So when top profile work is done by someone else, why should that person be responsible who is not involved itself in that work? This is, I think, the ground of responsibility shifting. Why I'm telling all this? Because there's a lot of difference. Now, everyone is responsible. In fact, you can't divide, you can't evolve. You can't say, oh, no, site engineer is absolved, or quality engineer is absolved, planning engineer. No, they are not absolved. They are associated with responsibility along with higher authorities, higher engineers, higher organizers, higher managers. And it's good because there are many eyes now from office, head office, site office, manager office on to work, because they are going to be responsible in methods also. Their designation shall survive there as well. Give input in procedures. So this means when your name or your title comes into that, somewhere you have to involve on papers. You have checked that or inspected that, you are involved in that. You can't escape. Actually, in writing they say we have reduced methods, we have reduced the procedures of quality system. Nevertheless, reality is different. Higher responsibilities have been integrated for obligations and responsibilities, conduct, and this means, truly speaking, IS 9001 2015 has actually upgraded itself rather than thinking it's given relief. Well, in words it gives relief, but it has made life difficult for all, because when responsibility has to be shared by everyone, it's really difficult in coordination and difficult in communication, because you need that class of people, that class of engineers from site to all your steps, all your hierarchy. You need equally qualified associate managers, organizers, heads. They must be from same field. It's not I'm MBA, I'm not engineer, I'm going to hold it. No. You must know what's your job. Your job description must include this activity. You must be engineer. If you are working on engineering, okay, you can be MBA, you can be whatever sort of something else, but you must know engineering job. And if you don't know in construction engineering or design engineering or something else, and you can't be responsible for quality, so who is that person who is declared responsible must have that title. And title means everything. Official title, approvable title, because you can't work on sites or on projects either in execution or in planning or in quality or wherever responsible position until your curriculum vitae are approved by engineer category, means engineer title on contracts. Without approval of that, even though you must be having visa of engineer or something else, or you may be having a license from government, it doesn't matter until, yes, you are entitled for that position in general, but a specific position for project deployment, you must have approval by contract engineer or legal engineer. If that engineer doesn't accept you, doesn't accept your curriculum vitae, doesn't accept your experience, your qualification, in that case you won't be given contract title. Contract has many titles, Contract is not having one. Every contract, depending on cost of contract, depending on responsibility of contract, depending on scope of contract, depending upon requirements demanded by contract, various categories of titles are created in all disciplines, and those titles can be granted only, can be approved only, provided person who is going to be proposed must qualify criteria, and that submission is done on curriculum vitae, and in some cases interviews are also conducted, and sometimes approval is given subject to performance. And if that performance is not demonstrated, not evidenced, in that case, you know what happens. That approval can be withdrawn without any explanation, because it's question of project. It's not question of your visa, It's not a question of your legal title, your chartered engineer, or your professional engineer, or your international professional engineer, or whatever license you're having. That is valid for freelancing, but not for project. If you're working for engineer, you must have adequate qualification in addition to your these titles, these statutory titles. These are statutory titles, not contract titles. There's a difference try to understand. There are qualification titles, educational titles, that is degrees, diplomas. They are not engineers. Then other titles like chartered engineer, like professional engineer, or like international professional. These are professional titles. These are titles where you can practice yourself. It's like license, statutory license. You can practice yourself on your own responsibility. But when you are given, you want to intend to join some project where you are not responsible directly in an absolute term. Someone else is responsible for project is a bed. That person who is responsible in totality of design and prosecution of a project is entitled engineer or project engineer. Engineer in terms appointed directly by owner or client, though not responsible to the client, but for design purpose okay, but for purpose other supervision of that, a responsibility counts. That person is employed by owner, but responsibility is independent. As far as technicalities are concerned, cost is responsibility of owner, so that engineer is not qualified enough to even increase cost. Yes, work is important, payments are important, certifications are important, statement of payments are important. Where you get that engineer, that's contract and title engineer, and that contract and title mention that contract and title engineer is given responsibility to design and supervise contractors' work. So there are classes of various engineers here. One is client, you call it, or employers engineering team. That is part of employers engineering team, and then there will be many engineers, resident engineers so-called, or specialist engineers so-called, senior engineers so-called. That can be different team, or otherwise there's a contractors team as well. Contract is party two in execution contract, or EPC contract, or you can say in construction contract, or the red book or FILIC, or that's construction contract, or silver book or silver FILIC, that's for EPC. In that contractor, that organization of contractor, that's a party two also has engineering team. You can call it execution team or engineering team, or you can say all members on a similar pattern as with engineer. This is main organization. Though now, because employer has engineer, that engineer must ensure those working with him must be adequately qualified and experienced. You can say must be professionally qualified. Those working with that engineer, there can be many resident engineers who represent site work for engineer, and also many specialist engineer, associates, and like that, and clerk of work even, or many a different kind of that's one team, and contractors are the team. Now because contractors is to be supervised by that team of the engineer, this means just like engineer has authority to make sure he gets adequate support by professionals, same thing engineer has authority to approve each and every key personnel of contracting organization. Engineering personnel, for example, site agent or project manager, you can say project organizer, construction organizer, and you can say all types of key personnel who are going to interact with engineers, staff, engineers personnel. So there are two parallel teams, and this team engineer has to approve them according to contract. Of course, they would be having different category of education and professional qualification, but that is not exclusive. That's one of requirement. You may be chartered engineer, you may be professional engineer, you may be international professional engineer. This is mentioned these days, or you may be whatever demand and adequate experience. It's not simply, there are many classes of chartered engineer. For example, in India we have AMIE, that's called chartered engineer, associate member of Institution of Engineers, and the other member of Institution of Engineers, and also fellow of Institution of Engineers. These three categories in India, Bharat, are classified as chartered engineers. So you can say chartered engineer AMIE, chartered engineer, you can say chartered engineer MI or chartered engineer FI, and similar exists in other countries as well. These are all formal titles. This is basic competency, but for that project, an engineer has to decide what should be your competency. This means you may have a lot of experience. If your experience doesn't fit in on this project, you can't be approved. Your CV can't be approved. Because if you are going to take absolute responsibility, oral responsibility of contractor's project, it's duty of an engineer to make sure that you know that project work. You have experience of that, and by chance you have experience, vast experience in various modalities, then you can be interviewed, that person can be interviewed to establish, I can do this job. Sometimes due to shortage of such professionals, chances can be given to competent professionals, pragmatic professionals, provided a watch observation is done on performance back. That's purpose of curriculum vitae approach. So there is no question of superiority or inferiority. This is my project. I am responsible for this. I am engineer for this project. I will make sure that my staff, engineering staff, is capable according to project requirement for purposes of design and supervision, and I will make sure contracting organization only employs those who I say yes, these are competent for. This is no personal, it's not my personal responsibility. This is professional project responsibility, because if I'm an agent, I have to make sure those people are suitable, adequately suitable for that project. That's the purpose of this. These are, a triangular arrangement with the employer and engineer and contractor, and other than this, there is new system that's called TPC. I talked before as well, third party certification, which is also independent, neither dependent on engineer nor dependent on contractor, as well as not dependent on employer, though employer has to pay to that party, TPC group. Payment just like it's paid, employer pays to engineer and staff. Employer has to pay to TPC. TPC has got no relation contractually with engineer as well as with contractor. TPC, third party certification team, has a legally established contractual relation with employer, but that is only contractual relation, not technical relation. This independent is independent. This independent is very important designation, because independent means you have no working relations. Of course, you have audit relations, AUDIT, auditing relations. Your relations to make sure that TPC certifies or TPC recommends compliance is done by engineer team as well as by contracting team. That is sole purpose of TPC. And if you see, this is very extremely responsible position to an extent auditing is concerned, auditing a project. Audit, I can't be 100%, but an assessment can be taken of 100% work done. That's very important point. You must have, as TPC, enormous knowledge, because you have to explain to engineer as well as to contractor if there's something, you are questioning them. If you question them, you must raise logical questions. Question in line meeting requirements of contracts, contracts documents, and organizational document, and you have to make sure engineer and engineer's team perform according to its requirement, and contractor and contractor team perform according to contractual requirement, and employer too does justice to both of them. That's also important. You can't leave employer, oh, you are employer, you are my boss, I can't say anything. No, you are independent of employer as well. That's law. You would share responsibility of project. You are project's third party. You are not employer's third party. You are not an engineer's third party. You are not contract's third party. You are project oriented third party. One party, first party is employer, second party is contractor, and you are third party of project, that is project employer, that is project contractor, and you are project third party. Same thing applies to engineer also. Try to understand this analysis. It is something very, very different. Third party has toughest responsibility, because if an engineer and contractor have dispute, it's very normal, very normal. They are working, they work on site, they work in design team, so they are on front all time. Both understand what they are doing. They know each other's loopholes. To be very frank, engineer knows where contractor is not working, and sometimes engineer has digestion to accept that. It happens. It happens. It should not happen, but it happens. What can you do in that case? Similarly, you can say that employer also knows loopholes of both, because it's not one day work. Project works for years together, maybe 1 year to 5 years, sometimes it can be 10 years, and many professionals come and many professionals leave, but employer, engineer, and contractor, this triangle stays there. They know thoroughly whole project, but third party doesn't stay on work or on site. They do not dedicate. TPC is not required to dedicate. Dedicate means full-time presence, full-time involvement. Engineering team is dedicated team for that project. Contractor's team is dedicated for that project. And of course, employer is owner, so employer is fully dedicated. But third party is not dedicated. They just visit timely according to agreed schedule, and this depends on that schedule. They work out their payment, visit payment or lump sum payment or whatever payment for reporting purpose. So main job of third party here is extraordinary, and it's different. You have to visit only. You have to visit not only site activities, you have to inspect documents as well. You can't thoroughly study them because you are not dedicated for that project. You are just part there. And you might be having many more projects in part. So your responsibility is assessment. You have to assess as third party yourself. Means maybe in 1 month you visit once, or 2 months you visit once, or in 2 weeks you visit once. Depends. You have to go and conduct meeting. But information keeps on coming to you. That's main important point. What's happening there? Because you are yourself reporting. You are reporting to employer. You are reporting to engineer. Reporting means, I'm not saying reporting subject to ordination. Reporting means your inspection report. It's report from higher level, you can say third party level. That report goes to owner, that report goes to engineer, and that report goes to contractor. So that report is higher command, and the report must be completely abstracted of plus and minus, I mean to say of rights or wrongs or recommendations. You can't say, yes, this lab was carried out, this work was done under your certification. No, you are not certifying anything. You are just making sure, based on information available from various documents, all documents you have authority to inspect, even confidential documents, contract documents, general conditions, particular conditions, whatsoever you have as TPC authority to inspect. Of course, you may be having some contract with the employer, and there may be some scope, part scope or full scope. It depends on that. But if I am given such responsibility, I would not say give me part work. No, I would say TPC means thorough work. Means I have to make sure that your contract documents, your contract work according to its requirement, its site requirement, its design requirements, its inspection requirements, its quality requirements, its planning requirements, its, I can say, whatever requirement to achieve targets. And that I can't see all the time. I can't see what's happening on site. Whatever information comes to TPC from, particularly from engineer, that's most powerful, because engineer is given reports by contractor. So contractor is origin authority to submit reports to engineer, who is approver or rejecter, who can reject as well, or who can return, or who can say okay, I accept, and that goes to third party for information, and if required for some action or recommended action or recommendations, whether or not that complies with contract requirements. So it's very complicated arrangement, and this third party actually can upgrade quality, can teach, can train contractor, can remove contractor indirectly, I'm not saying directly, or replace contractor, or can replace engineer as well. That power it has, but that is different type of power, not a command directly. You can recommend whatever you want, third party can suggest whatever it want, it can give in writing command that it should be done like this. This is an error. You can comment, third party can comment designs, it can comment on specifications, it can, of course, on contract, it can't recommend something because contract is already signed. No one can change. Yes, if third party is arranged in pre-contract conditions, pre-contract conditions, then there is authority, if given to TPC also, to review contract pre-signatures, that their job can be included in TPC. But I think generally it creates problems because at that time TPC is not considered that important, but it is. If you don't have TPC on major projects, then nobody can trust you. It's, you can say, a kind of professional trust that TPC generates. Previously, actually, engineer itself should TPC, to be very frank, contractually defined engineer, and team should be responsible because they are also independent. They are getting the remunerations or their contract payment from employer, like TPC is also getting. In fact, they are TPC, but because of so much development in this, and there's so much mistrust, you can say, generally if engineers are employed on role of government, if the government's client, you know, they're not regular in that post, can be transferred, other guy can come. Like this means you cannot say sole responsibility is owned by engineer. Actually, engineers should have sole responsibility. So that type of responsibility is disintegrated, you can say. Practically, not legally. Engineer is engineer in law of contract. You can't say no. That engineer is also sometimes, a kind of arbitrator. Means when there's no arbitration, this engineer acts as arbitrator. So actually, this engineer and that third party are supposed to be independent, but what happens because of expansion of disciplines in engineering, expansion of sub-disciplines in engineering, in designs, as well as in construction, as well as in procurement, as well as planning and quality and this and that. So many branches have come up from this tree of engineering. So this also generated, and this also evolved third party, which is actually a remote engineer, like remote arbitrators or remote DAB, we can say, DAB, dispute avoidance and adjudication board. I will talk, but I'm just trying to reflect to you means how does the system work. So why I'm talking about this? Because I'm talking about contracts, I'm talking about engineering, I'm talking about construction, I'm talking about field engineering, I'm talking about computations, and I'm talking about quality, I'm talking about contracts, all that we are talking in. When you talk like that, you must be mature enough to communicate, and communication is very important. Because who wrote contract documents? Who originated them? Who wrote specifications? How many hands were involved? Who did field work? Not one man. It's time consuming. Sometimes it takes many months for designs. It takes many months for compiling specifications, contract conditions, contract forms, and so much. Voluminous work. Sometimes you'll find many volumes of contract documents. Thousands and thousands of pages. Sometimes you'll find so thick book of field, so thick book of general specifications and project specifications, and so many conditions of contracts, general conditions, particular conditions. Means you can say it's a kind of complete institutionalized work. It's complete institution. Your 3 years degree or 4 year degrees or 5 year degrees of post graduation or doctorate may not contain so many original documents. They may be guiding documents only your professor might have taught you, your institution might have taught you, but these are actual. Depends on which whole project work. There may be right or there may be wrong, there may be errors, there may be something, but once it is executed, signed by all first party and second party and witnesses, each page and all pages, after that you can't touch it until it is legally void. So do you understand the value of contract documents? Contract documents, I'm not talking ordinary documents. I'm not talking educational certificate. That's also very important, but here we are talking something for which someone shall pay for which someone shall supervise and design, and for which someone shall be paid. So it's question of money involved in billions and billions of bucks. It's not one or two or three. How many? 1.5 billion project, $5 billion project, $20 billion project. There are. So each unit of this money is involved, and this on responsibility of engineer, on responsibility of contractor, and of course on shared responsibility of third party. And this money who pays? Employer pays. And who is employer? Employer is government or organizations or promoters. And whose money is that? That money comes from people, from public, from community. So this public money, it may be handled by government, it may be handled by corporate, it may be handled by whatever. Only small amount belongs to that corporate. That's also from banks. So institutionalized money it is, and public money it is. Whatever project is there, so public money requires to be preserved. And if it cannot be preserved, you can say it is bungling, or it is robbery, loot. Then where is professionalism? We say this project is handled by professionals, and result of that delivery is professional project. Just like say professional documents, professional definition, professional contract conditions, and professional particular conditions, professional contract documents, professional contract. Everything is professional. Professional valuation, professional certification, professional running statements. Professional or profession is involved, though maybe not written with every contract document, but it's based on profession. It's done by professionals. It's originated by professionals. It's approved by professionals. It's handled by professionals. It's weighed by professionals. It's valued by professionals. All such document as well as work. You understand what I'm saying? It's not very easy, and no book can explain to you everything. That is my experience to you. I have seen many projects. I have seen many contracts. It's my good luck. I should congratulate myself that I had such opportunity in my career, that from worst contract to best contract, from low profile contract to commanding contract, from toilet paper type contract to very efficient contract. I have gone through all that during my site work, during my design work, during my, you can say, bidding work, or you can say whatever you say. What your work where I was involved during my career, I was fortunate to see everywhere site work, project work, design work, coordination work, communication work, and bidding work, or ensuring contracts during bidding. So you can say I've gone through unlimited number of documents. Means it's a chance to read and understand, analyze and find and see where's your right, where's wrong. So you think we are going through, you can say, I don't know how many thousands and thousands documents and designs and specifications and contract conditions and quantification and so on and so forth. You can say what's involved in professional activities on projects you have caught that in, so your mind becomes sharp and sharp. I cannot say I am a civil engineer. Yes, by my professional academics, I am civil engineer. By my experience, I was civil engineer. Then I made myself interdisciplinary engineer, from discipline engineer, then further interactive engineer, then particularly upgraded to multiple level engineer. And then you can say various disciplines like planning, you have to involve yourself with, coordination, you have to involve yourself with, quantification, you have to involve yourself with, design, planning, coordination, quality, procurement, site work, handling contractors, handling consultants, handling engineers, and handling contract disputes. So everything is a joke? No. That's why I say what I'm giving here as what's that? That's why I'm saying project engineering, management, total quality engineering, FIDIC or QCS, concrete, COVID is something else. Well, so I'm trying to talk to you on various miscellaneous issues which actually count in engineering, and if you know them, if you can handle them, maybe it looks very difficult in beginning, but it's a reality of life. It's a reality of life. Life is that much professional. Every day you learn something. Sometimes you feel that, oh, I'm not doing anything. I do not accept this. In certain company, I was a chief engineer. That's not very big company, you can say, but responsibility. But there are many projects, small, 10 million project, 10 million reals or grams, or 20 million or 28 million, like that means. The owner of the company means many times ask me, sometimes I don't find you busy. What happens, you'll find many owners or responsible employers in certain companies are not very well educated. I'm not saying all certain, and they think you are busy only if you are doing something. I hear your side there. I used to advise that person, look, if you think I'm not doing anything, don't come to me. You think that I'm thinking something. That's it. You are employing me, you employed me to see whether I'm working or not working, or you employed me to see work is done. What's your choice? Once I told him, no, Mrs. It's not that. I came just to see a good morning, wish you good morning. Means just diplomatic transmission, the conversion of face impression. No, I just came to see video good morning. I'm not criticizing that person. Sometimes I've seen people who have no experience in field, no experience in engineering, no knowledge of engineering, but because these open some organizations on responsibility of engineers, they themselves can't do. That organization can't be approved by law without employment of various categories of engineers. That is, contract regulation. And my objective is delivery. delivery of requirements. And if I can't deliver, I have no right to work there. I should withdraw. Some talk to me, some young man, some young engineer, I know, not engineer, some medical. Oh, you cannot work more than 8 hours, you are paid whatever, you have to work that much. That is contemplation of some people. If you are paid, you have to work either 8 hours or whatever hours. And why you work more when you are paid? My career doesn't mean you are paid. It's contract, employment contract, where I am second party in that employment contract, and my company, my organization is party one. Contract between organization and myself as an engineer. I am employees party 2 and employees party 1. My title tells me what's my job. Title given in contract. That is minimum expectation by company, by organization, what they expect you to do for them. That's minimum. And there's no limit to maximum. No limit to maximum performance. If say I'm appointed a site engineer, for example, I'm giving you just coming from low background. This minimum for an engineer, or even sometimes lower category of site engineer. But that is title, because you agreed. I agree with my employer. Okay, whatever vacancy you have, this vacancies you have, okay, I apply for this, and it's my duty, minimum duty that I have to work there. But in engineering, minimum duty is not defined. Job description is defined, but that is only for guidance purpose. There's already one line added at end of every job description. Foregoing job descriptions are not limited. These are unlimited. Whatever work is possible you have to do, or whatever employer expects to do, you have to do. And if you accept that responsibility, you can't say no. Yes, if I am at this position and if I am capable of upgrading myself, I have to take responsibility. I can't say no. Question is not money. That's already contract. Yes, if you succeed, your contract to be upgraded. That happens. It doesn't matter you get higher money or excessive money. You may get residence facility, better facility, you get better transport, you get better other benefits, or you may have some hidden partnership or share, something like that. So this is commercial part of your employment. So question is your job. Sometimes what happens, I've seen people, they are having one title, but they work in higher grades. Okay, no problem. I have to work 8 hours, I have to work for 10 hours, I have to work for 12 hours, I have to work for 14 hours. Employer says, you are, because you are professional, you are responsible for 24/7. It's not written, but it is assumed it is. Sorry, excuse me. Now employment is one part and employer is another part, but engineering is again I say third part, because you are engineering, I am engineer, and engineer and engineering are very much related. When engineering does not stop any time, work of engineer does not stop any time. There is no limit defined for work. No limit. Can't be. So what to say? What to say in that case? As I said, every project is professional training. Every project constitutes professional training, much more than academics. If you really involve yourself in a project, if you are honest, sincere, and you learn, you are going to learn, not employer. You are going to learn and you have to teach. You have to transfer that knowledge to your juniors, your subordinates. That's called engineering. You cannot keep up to, oh, I learn it, I keep it in my pocket. I would not tell you. No. In engineering world, it's not valid. In engineering world, 8 hours or 10 hours do not mean anything. Rest doesn't mean anything because it is engineering. Projects are very complicated, conditioned, time condition, cost condition, quality condition, value addition condition, reputation condition, your past records condition, your capacity building condition. If you have to maintain such conditions and you are in such caliber organization which is highly reputed, its staff, its engineers must also match that condition. That's very much important part. You can't go otherwise. You understand that? That's much more important part. And if you can do that, you uplift yourself. There is a site engineer in a very small company, it's a class 4 company, and there is a site engineer, a class 1 company. Both are site engineers, but both are having different experience, different academics, and different remunerations, different facilities. Very small company has site engineer, and class 1, you can say very high company has site engineer. Both are different. That has power. This is a site engineer, sometimes for a small job, small position, big job, big position. But you can't get that job so easily if you're not having that caliber. Caliber comes from small job, then another job, then another job, then you reach certain landing, and then you certain flow. Sometimes 25 years experience is required for same position, sometimes 40 years is required, and sometimes 5 years are required, which experience clearly indicate what is value of that position. So that position sometimes, a smaller position in a smaller company gives you multiple responsibilities, because those companies, those organizations are not well resourced, and they expect that this person should look after 5 projects, or this electrical person should look after 10 projects. I have seen electrical foremen, electrical engineers looking after 10 projects in execution. Mechanical engineers, HVAC engineers looking after similarly. They're not only looking after execution, even you're looking after shop drawing, working drawing, material procurement, staff handling, and coordination, and this and that, going to meeting, all meetings like that. But job cost is limited, activities are limited, movement is higher. Suppose 5 projects are spread over, one project here, other than 50 kilometers, third one 100 kilometers, then 20, like that. Time is spent in transport, but they have to work. They have to work. They can't go every day. They go only during their activities done. Their shop times they have to do, working times they have to do. They have to procure material as well. And you can procure material only when drawings are approved. And quantification, you do it. That's the point. And you have not only procurement, you have to get approval of materials as well as times both. and procedures and methods are. Only then you can do work. Otherwise, you cannot do. This point is very important, very, very significant in itself. And if you don't understand that point, you say, no, I'm project manager. Okay, you are project manager, you are project organizer, you are design engineer. You should know your quantum first, how much you can handle. How much you can handle. That's important. You can handle only according to your competency, your caliber. Then I say there are two qualifications. One is academics. Okay, I pass BE, degree in engineering or diploma in engineering. I pass also masters. It's okay. And some pass also doctoral. Okay, that's academics. But question is, this is one part of career, other part of application of that academics. In application, you have to take time, because theory is different. In 4 hours, in 8 hours in university, you can learn a lot. But exposure is zero. Yes, I studied 35 books in degree, and I studied, you can say, 20 books in masters. I studied so many much in that, and went to lecture juniors and went to do research work, I can say. But what did you actually learn? That's the point of concern. Actual learning. Actual learning is project learning, which takes time, because there real responsibility lies with. You have to give shape to design, and that means resources are involved. Not only resources, time is involved, cost is involved, quality is involved, efficiency is involved, and reputation is involved. Goodwill is involved. You have no right to spoil or denigrate reputation of someone or goodwill of someone. So for preservation, for updating that one, you should be adequately smart, mentally active, powerful, thinker, applicator, designer, applicator of designs, and coordinator, communicator. And if you are having that type of capacity, you can think of those types of designations in organization, in addition to your own academical designation or professional titles, because you may be asked various questions. Sometimes they trust you, they employ you, looking at your face or looking at your CV, depends. But in reality, if you are given a test, okay, you write this much, I'm asking you so many questions, you are given a question, or you have to answer so many questions, and then you shall be interviewed. Just to screen out means I want to filter so that I get competent person with me, at least in my eyes, in my mind, because I know what's requirement of project and what's requirement of contract, and I know what you have to deal with, whom you have to deal with, what sort of people are there, what sort of consultants, engineers are there, what sort of contracting staff is there, what sort of other people are there, what sort of municipalities are there, what sort of statutory bodies are there. Means a kind of extra coordination as well as internal coordination and in communication are very, very significant sub-disciplines which actually support disciplines and project. And if you lack in that capacity, so I'm only designer, I'm only planner, I'm only quantifier, I'm only quality person, I'm a procurement guy. Yes, you are. Nevertheless, you have to answer. Because of interaction requirement, this interaction requirement is not for you, it's for project. Remember, you have to shoot every activity. Just like you say, shoot mail. You can shoot mail, electronic mail, only if you can compose that mail. You can compose that mail only if you know how to write mail. And you can think to know how to write mail only when you know what is contract. What is contract that exists between that person to whom you write and you or your organization. You must be thorough in that. Maybe you write to subcontractor, you write to vendor, you write to consultant, you write to engineer, you write to employer, or you write to statutory bodies. You must have that concept in your mind. What I have to write, because you have not to write essays, you have not to write stories, you have not to write poetry, and you have not to write dialogues. You have to write professional letters. Professional letters. I'm saying professional minded, I'm not saying contractual. There's a difference. Professional letters have many types, and contractual letters are exclusively different. When you say contractual letters, contractual communication, that is something else. But when you say professional letters, there are many profiles, but you should be clear about everything. Because you are expert communicator, you have to write pinpointed or bullet pointed questions and answers or references. Communication isn't easy. If you communicate, so I have written so many letters to that company in that one, but can you relocate them? Suppose I want answer to this question, I want answer within minutes. Do you have that much system with you? If there's no computer, are you able to do that in your filing system? Or even if you have a computer, can you immediately go back to that folder where this letter is? So I can't do this because I'm an engineer. No, you can't say. This is part of engineering. Communication and coordination is communication and coordination engineering. This is discipline and engineering. You can't say no. Because you have to read documents. If you say, no, it's not a job, how shall you read a specification? How shall you design? How shall you read contract conditions? How shall you answer questions, verbal or verbatim or interactive? Documentation is very important. And should you fail in that, project cannot keep you. You will be expelled or thrown out from team. Whatever level within that team you are located, your CVs shall be withdrawn, approvals of CV will be withdrawn, and you will earn black mark on your CV. So at time of learning or in budding stage, you have to sacrifice a lot, just because you have to learn real engineering, not academics. I give an example. You are an experienced engineer. There's an experienced professional teacher who's called professor or lecturer, who always lectured. He has produced many doctorates or masters or bachelors. Fine. Learned professional, learned professor. Give a site. You will make a mistake. Just like if you are given an assignment of teaching as a professor, they make a mistake. Yes, professional work you can teach. You can teach professional related activities, project activities, but theoretically you can't. If I'm have I was now I'm having more than 40 years total experience. If somebody asks me go to university and deliver a lecture on bending moment or on applied sciences, or you can say theory of structure, for that I am failure because I have forgot everything. Yes, I am designing, but I learned everything long back. I never relearned it. I never reviewed it. If somebody asks me to draw this deflection formula, I can't. I understand, I know formula, but derivation of that isn't easy. Use this differential equation. Means what I'm saying is, where you are experienced, what does experience mean? Experience means continuous learning, application. What you learn to do it and do it and do it and do it every day. So you are repeating and refining whatever you learned. And that is real learning. Means your work is work. Your work is not simply on papers, it is in money terms spent. Your work is money. But in academics, it's different. If you don't pass your problem, you have to re-up again. If you can't answer again, you have an alternative, an option, you have a chance. So this is a complete difference. In field, you are your own professor, you are self-trainer, you are self-teacher. Nobody will give you. Yes, there may be interaction, discussion, documents, references. Actually, you have to find out and tell them this is not matchable. You have to do that. And particularly a person in contractors employed engineer is very, very responsible for project. In whatever title of contract is given, that is responsibility. And because you are from contractor, you have to do the job. This means you have to handle documents first. You have to handle contract first. You must have absolute comprehension what is required to be done. And what is required to be done means it is professional, means technical, it is quantification, it is specifications, it is drawing, it is code, and it is method, it is planning, it's quality. Everything you have to deliver, every activity you have to deliver. This means consultant may not be dealing with everything, engineer may not be dealing with everything, though they come and examine, they come and inspect. Sometimes they ask you, okay, give me drawing numbers also. When you send your request for inspection, you have to attach every reference. Even in material submittals, you have to write complete details. What is specification, what is drawing, what is manufacturer, what is test report. You give them, they just examine that. Okay, inspect them. And that's where experience pays. Contractor, because contractor is a bottom, contractor is a shop, is a factory. I can't produce, I can't sell if I can't satisfy my customer. As a contractor person, I have to do everything on behalf of employer, on behalf of contractor, party 2, because I represent that contractor, and I have to work in compliance with contract conditions, contract documents. Try to understand this point. So you may be one person or you may be 4%. You have to deal with everyone. You have to deal with engineers team, you have to deal with employer, and you have to deal with suppliers, you have to deal with manufacturers, you have to deal with all and statutory bodies and so much, you have to deal with your workers, resources, machines, everything, and keep it in line to plans. schedules. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy to keep everything in mind, but you have to. Of course, I'm not saying in one day you do that. If the project is 5 years, depends. 3 years, depends. 2 years, depends. You have plenty of time. But starting is always difficult. Starting means you are blank there. Your head is zero regarding that project. Before doing anything, before doing something, whatever you can do, you have to go through contract. You have to go through scope of work. You have to go through requirements, and you have to go through which codes are there. You have to comprehend everything. And once you comprehend, it takes time. It takes many, sometimes weeks. I'm not saying you go to say there are 5,000 pages. You can read 5,000 pages. No. At least you if you're experienced, you can know what are there. This is similar. You go to pages and say, oh, is there contract condition is there. This is project time, and this is likely damages, and this is this loss, and this is this loss, and we have to do this, and this is requirement of it. Oh, we have to start this, get the project here. Then we have to mobilize, and we have to start procurement, and we have to get metal submittal, and we have to get triangle pool, and we have to elect our subcontractors, and this must say approved. We have to all that. You must know that. This means 8 hours and 10 hours do not work there. I think you understand what I'm saying. I'm talking experience. I'm not talking theory. You may be having different experience. Why I'm telling you this? Because this is a part of quality system. Quality system mandates it, demands it, even it's optional. Without this, you cannot do job. Everywhere is not our country. I know our people are lethargic. They don't read. They lack reading. They lack legal knowledge. They lack specifications. They just want to do. That's it. Because contractors think that way. That's why I say this conflict between contractor and engineer, and contractor and its staff. It's engineers. And contractor depends on engineer. Engineer doesn't depend on contractor, but it's reverse happening here. I'll shunt you out if you don't listen to me. This happens. And architect who knows nothing about site work, who knows nothing about anything, just wants to command here. I'm not against architect. Architect is his own profession. Space setting designers, you do your job. Don't interfere in responsibility. When I say contractor, means contractor. It's not a lay person. No, it is professional organization. It's professional responsibility. Contractor is professional, like engineer is professional, like employer is professional, like third party is professional, like professional manufacturers, professional vendors. Contractor is also a service provider. Of course, with different responsibility, with total responsibility. I think I'm not wasting your time. 7:13. Okay. So, my contemplation is little different. Maybe you have not that one, which I think it should be. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. You have to speak without fear. You have to write without fear. You have to involve without fear. You have to go through complete documentation without fear. And if you fail, even 5%, even by 5%, if you fail, you will make errors. You will make mistakes. In international world, in international professionalism, This is not acceptable. Maybe here, because here people don't have professional ethics, they claim, but in fact they lack. If that's the situation, that scenario, how shall you comply with every requirement with value addition? No, you cannot. Until, just like you know, every contractor's work is examination, because you are delivering. Point is, I would not say consultant is examination. No, that's not examination. Consultant is not delivering. Engineer is not delivering. Engineer is getting it delivered through someone. But as far as contractor red book is concerned, you are different. EPC is concerned, Silver, you are different, because you are responsible for end product. You are responsible. Exclusive your responsibility according to contract. If you comply with, you are paid, and if you don't comply with, you are not paid. For what a contract is there? To show to others? No, for consideration. Consideration. Because contract price means contract consideration. Consideration means we both agreed this is the scope of work. You do this scope of work, in consideration of which work I shall make you money, this money. So that money, that fixed price or variable price, whatever, that is consideration for your services, your construction services. This means is that you have to analyze each and every term. Only then you can say what does it mean. You got it or no? Why I am stressing on this? I have written that I am stressing on concrete quality. Yes, this is also concrete work. Even though there is no element of concrete on that project, projects itself is concrete. You see, concrete means solid, reliable. You have to deliver project. It may be construction project or it may be EPC. You are given a price, that's consideration, and employer expects you to deliver work. So who is responsible? You are factory. You are manufacturer. Of course you are manufacturing on situ or whatever. It's your role. You are paid for that. You have to satisfy employer, and before that you have to satisfy engineer, and you have to satisfy third party, and you have to satisfy public. Here I think when I say that, you scratch, right? Because you are not confident, but requirement is that, and that's why I say quality system. And concrete, I'm saying, must be of quality. It's not material of concrete alone, it's concrete action. Concrete action on quality system. If you do a quality system with concrete action, you are a professional contractor, and when you deliver project, that project is professional project, professional delivery. That project speaks what level of professional you are. That project speaks what professional site engineer you are. Contractors professional, but important is what level of professional you are as engineer, as engineering staff, as construction staff. That is where responsibility sits in. And based on contractor's success of engineer depends Success of employer depends, and success of third party depends, and ultimately success of project depends. Success of contract depends, because contract is not for contractor alone, it's for employer as well. Reputation is built up, capacity building is added, each project adds to your potential. We call it capacity building. As many projects you do as an engineer, or as site engineer, or as contractor or contract engineers or employer, capacity of everyone is enhanced, augmented, upgraded, and that comes into your pre-qualification documentation as organization of contractor, organization of engineer, or organization of employer, or owner, organization of third party. We have achieved this. This is our capacity building. We have carried out this, and in this role is yours, but project is for everybody. Claim is made on project by everyone. That point, where do we consider really? And if you understand that, it's beneficial for everybody. That's why we say, if you see, again I say, why we say in this, for example, this is a certificate, I say, issued by Institution of Engineers India, which is statutory body. What it says, if you read language of this, you will find, it says, by virtue of qualification, it says, by virtue of qualification, professional training, and then membership. So we take 2 points here. This person is authorized to write this, use this title. Now, what does it mean? I'm not claiming the certificate is right or wrong. What I'm saying is language, script used on that certificate is qualification and training, professional training and qualification. Qualification is academics, and professional training is your added experience. So each step is added on every project, and you are upgraded as professional, you are upgraded as chartered, you get expertise, and you get added responsibility on other project. Your CV is made lengthy, and you have to answer questions if you're asked during examination of any or whatever position. It could be written examination as well as oral examination, and you can also raise questions if you have knowledge. It's not necessary that I have a right to question, you have to answer. No, in profession it does not work. It's both ways. If I am experienced, I have certain right to raise questions about organization or project, and they must satisfy me, because I have to see myself whether or not I am suitable for the project. Of course, that organization would see, but I know much more than about myself. As many as CVs I write, as lengthy CVs, nobody reads that, because those people who visit us for interview, in 1 hour even they cannot, or even in whole day, those people cannot identify my reality. Only I know my reality. So it's my duty first to make sure I apply for right position, not irrelevant position. And it's my duty as an engineer, professional, that I don't misrepresent myself. And if I misrepresent myself, it's not in professional ethics, means I cheat myself. I cheat myself means I have bad intention. You can say I'm going to cheat that organization as well. I'm going to cheat that engineer as well who would approve my CV, or if I'm an engineer myself. And so this means my intention is not professional. My intention is malified in that case, because I'm a responsible person. I'm an engineer by qualification. It's my duty not to misrepresent. And misrepresentation is a crime in contract. It's a crime. If I claim something and they trust me, see, question is trust. Sometimes appointment is done by trust. So that trust should be enhanced. That trust should not be converted to mistrust. You get a point. That trust should not be transferred to mistrust. So this is very important point that I try to share with you, because budding people, those who are fresh or who are moving themselves, they seldom do not realize to that in-depth studies of professional qualifications. If I see some advertisement, this is published, this is our requirement, and I should not apply if I don't qualify that. Yes, academics is okay, but more than academics is work experience. That's many times more valuable than your academics, because of course your first degree, so academics, higher academics doesn't value that much if you have experience, because every project is a degree itself. If suppose you have worked on a project which is for 5 years, you worked on one project, or you have worked on second project and third project, means you are having multiple experience. And this can be varying experience as well. One may be building project, one may be road project, one may be some other infrastructure project, or hospital project. Means it depends on what. But you make your head clear and well organized. Once something you get on your hands as well as on your hands and head, when these are equipped with information, with confidence, it's a confidence building. The one is capacity building and one is confidence building. As an individual, I have to get confidence building in my mind, in my hands. I have to earn confidence, first my confidence, means then others' confidence. If I'm not confident myself, I can't command. Just like we have to give command on computers, we have to give command in work. In all disciplines you have to command, and you can command only when you know job. You know ins and outs, plus and minus of every activity, of every project. You have concept of that. Not necessary if way other guy has done, we have to do. If you have better network in our mind on that project, we can do that. And that's where your procedures apply. Procedures work from start of project to end of project, and even sometimes it includes maintenance also. That procedure or group of procedures must be clear to me. I'm not saying in one day you do it. Okay, I say I don't know anything, but I know system. If you understand system, that is much more valuable. Means, okay, drawings you understand, specifications you understand, you have some specialist also to assist you, but you have to lead, you have to head. This means you have to direct. You have to direct. And you can extract information from your specialists when you know how to organize, how to direct, how to lead. And you have all documents with you, maybe 10,000 pages, doesn't matter. If suppose you go through those pages, you see, you are not going word by word, you are not going line by line. Because you are experienced, sometimes you understand whole chapter in, I don't need this, but currently later on I'll see. Okay, I have to, means you know where would you find specific information, particular information, in which part of contract, in which part of specification. And then budget. With your experience, budget should not be a problem to you. Market rate should not be a problem to you. Quantification should not be a problem to you. Means there is no problem to you except some specific work where you have a specification person with you. So you can program, you can direct, you can conceive, You can focus on resources, how to use best. Sometimes you say, okay, I don't need 100% human resources or machine resources. I want to confine to 60% only or 70%. Why to invest money? In that case, you calculate, you weigh, overtime application is better or investment is better. If you have multitude projects, if you see in future projects are coming, you can invest. Otherwise, then you have to even hire resources or maintain resources in a calculated way, so that your money is returned back. Whatever you spend on that resource, it should come back. That is very much important. I think it's analytical study, it's analytical direction, it's analytical approach. This means you must be analysis expert or engineer must be analyst. That's why I always claim that engineer profession, an engineer by profession is best analyst. Best analyst. There is no such analyst equal to engineer, because this is calculated profession. This contains calculation, this contains computation, this contains research, this contains complete analysis, this contains quantification, this contains specification, this contains technology, this contains designs, this contains planning and everything related to project. It contains communication, it contains coordination, it contains disputes, and it contains disputes resolutions. And when such a highlighted knowledge you have, it's different. Your personality is different, your talk is different, your writing is different, and otherwise your project is different. Each word counts, each word. Gossipism never counts. Each word counts. You try to understand what I'm saying. Wherever required, you explain. Where required, you write. Where required, you calculate. And never try to talk a lot. Because talking a lot means you are not a good person. Person who talks a lot cannot think. Talk a lot, pointed, bulleted, I say. Because you are an engineer. During your talk, you have to conceive. It's not simply talking. It's not politics. It's not journalism. During talk, you have to walk mentally. During talk, you have to walk mentally. You try to understand this point. Because you are not talking in person. You are talking as a representative of someone who can be negatively impacted because of your words, because of your whatever. So best is always write. When you go to meeting, prepare yourself. Don't jump. Preparation doesn't mean 1 hour before. Generally, meetings are conducted weekly or fortnightly or monthly, depending. So, you have to give time for homework. You have to go through minutes, and you have to minute yourself, if you can. And you have to act immediately. Don't try to write before meeting. Prepare before meeting. You write brief on that report, which is self-explanatory. Leave very little room for questioning. If you have studied project very well, I don't think that you have to face problem. You have to face problem of that level. Always there's a format of every minutes and every reporting and every submission, and these formats are very small, means very precise. These are not letters, political letters or commercial letters. technical letters these are, technical queries these are, technical reports these are, technical minutes these are. Everything is related to technology, related to comprehensive system of writing. Means don't write too small and too big. Write in a way it's immediately understood by receiver. If you can do that, you can say your writing itself is speaking. It should be reasoned. Not only reasoned but also required. Don't write irrelevant and don't speak irrelevant. By chance you are not well prepared and you are not able to answer a meeting, which is contract meeting or whatever meeting where it is recorded, in that case, hold on. Okay, give me some time. I'm not ready for this today. Nobody would mind that, provided you cover time. If you do not cover time, or you have no reason for that to justify your loss of time, you are going to face a big problem in that case. Remember, time is much more important than financial cost in contracts. Time is money in contracts, because if you waste time, you are going to waste contract money and you cannot recover. And if you recover by overloading of resources, okay, we augment resources, don't forget you have to pay for those resources. It could be human resource, equipment resource, material resource, or whatever. It's very important point. Don't take it easily. Don't take it easy. Just the easy doing business. No, your business is not easy doing. Your business is specific. Engineering is not easy doing. It is complicated, it is technological, it is intellectual and analytical and financial. You cannot allow time run away. You cannot allow times overrun. You cannot allow cost overruns, and you cannot allow inferior quality, and you cannot allow something else as well. Reputation, resources wastage, and if you have to cover all this, you must be competent adequately. Otherwise, you know that. I mean, not physically. Don't worry. I was in Iraq and too young, so that time was saying that there's some spies from Saddam Hussein on every side, and if Saddam knows, oh, they are not doing quality work, even resident engineer says, if I don't do it, just style only. Nobody, I don't know, but quality is quality. Sorry. Just a reminder, I put again here. As an engineer, with contractor. I'm stressing on contractor because contractor is ultimate producer. And fortunately, I have been with contractor as well. I have been with consultant as well. And I have been my consultant itself. Well, I'm not appreciating myself. I'm not here for that purpose. My purpose is to help you. Help those who are lacking in professional activities. My titles that are given this include various fields, various coverage in profession, and contract is ultimately, liable, obliged, prosecutable, and responsible for safety, health, safety, and environment, ergonomics, planning, comprehension, you can say scheduling, planning, same thing, quantification, cost, procurement, materials, resources, all, and delivery, and quality, and time and cost. All knowledge areas come within coverage of contractor. Of course, other non-engine issues like insurances, collective insurances, third-party insurance, all that. And also responsible for loss and gains, both. Because contractor cannot sit on site, not possible. He's a business guy, commercial guy. Support engineers are there in whatever capacity, manager capacity, organizer capacity, engineer capacity, or assistant, whatsoever capacity. Contractor pays them according to employment contract. You are paid. If there is payment for contractor from employer, there is payment for every staff level from contractor. So if contractor is liable, you are also liable. You cannot escape. No. It is you. Actually, that's only face of contractor, only title of contractor. It is you who are contractor or part of contractor. So I say, though contractors sometimes in our country is not honored, but as a professional, I honor contractors. If contractor is real, contractor is professional, contractor is sincere, not a robber, not a looter, and if you work with that contractor doesn't interfere in system, okay, cost is your right, valuation is right, the payment your right, I don't stop that. My work makes everything for you. My involvement, my role, and roles like others, other engineers, managers, foremen in charge, and whosoever are there, everybody's role is for you. If I do something, you do something. If my charge hand does something for you, do something. My general foreman does something for you, do something. My site hand does something for you. Whoever on site work performs, it is contractor performance, contractor's performance. So maybe I'm not 100% contractor on this project, maybe I'm 25% contractor according to my role, other guy is 30% contractor, other one is 10% contractor. Like that, everybody has some responsibility because everybody works for that project, in physical terms, while engineer inspectors work for only their part. They are not responsible for everything except surveillance, supervision, and designs, if designs are part of contract. But employer is responsible for everything. So as a contractor person, I have to think of employer also first, because my work shall help employer use this work commercially or otherwise. If I don't work, Means my contractor fails, my employer is my contractor. I'm sorry, I'm contractor of my employer. I apologize. My employer is my contractor, that is employer's contractor, and this contractor is my employer. So I have to think for my party, and my party is contractor. That's my employer, because in my contract that is employer, and in my contract I am employee. So it is my professional duty that I have to work religiously for that project, thinking this project is mine. That sincerity I should have, even though I work for 2 months or 1 month or 1 year or 2 years. It doesn't make a difference. Even I work for a day, even on charity, where I don't charge anything, say, but work is work. I may not charge, say, but work shall be included. And if my work is wrong, is not according to compliance, is not compliant well, that work shall be rejected. So money is spent on rejection, then money is spent on redoing. You see, what's my value then? Therefore, my dear colleagues, it's very important talk as far as responsibility of a contractor is concerned. Contractor, actually, if you go to USA, you'll find contractor is very big term. If you go to England, if you go to Gulf, this is a very respectable title, contractor, because our contractor is deliverer. Contractor is not ordinary professional. Contractor means final work. Contractor means final delivery person. Just like you order a food, food delivery boy comes and delivers you. That's contractor for you, service contract, delivery of food, and you are employer of that. So in construction, in civil engineering, because work is very hard, work is very time consuming, and in civil engineering, civil construction, we use natural materials, natural available materials, and manufacture them on site. For example, we manufacture concrete or precast or pre-stress or whatever. We manufacture mortar, we manufacture so many, and we use them. Means it's kind of factory work, site work, and delivery work also, because delivery is done in papers, already work is done. Work is done, and when it's fully serviceable, delivery is declared without snags, without punch list, or if something there is done in maintenance, during maintenance period. So my factory is there, my manufacturing unit factory is there, my industry is there, and my delivery home is there, and my work home is there. That is my workplace, that is my delivery place, that is my factory, and you can say whatever, and operation also is done post contract is over. Well, I think it's not ridiculous in saying that, but these are facts. So and this machine which you produce, I am calling this work as machine, this product as machine, because machine, it's machine, I should call it machine. What's wrong with that? If I make some structure, it's mechanism based, and if I make some building or structure, it's mechanismic. We have formation mechanism, we have structural mechanism, we have services mechanism, we have design mechanism. It's a combination of various mechanisms. So this is machine stationed there itself, on which various machines are stationed, which can be removed, but this machine cannot be removed from substructure to other structures, can never be removed until this whole is you can say demolished, or you can say dismantled due to some reason. This is permanent inclusion. We usually call in our field of construction particularly in civil or structural world, we call permanent inclusion, or we call temporary inclusion, or we say preparatory work or temporary work. Permanent inclusion is permanent because it is permanent. It has to go to work and we cannot take out from the because it's paid. Temporary arrangements we can take out. Preparatory arrangements we can take out. No way, no compulsion, I should stay here. So we have to be very, very particular in order to talk about. When we say permanent material, permanent inclusion, for the permanent inclusion, every material which is there, all combination of those permanent material make this mechanism on which other machines come. So this whole machine is integrated or assembled, structurally assembled, and you can say finishings assembled. These are assemblies of machines and also assemblies of operating machines, because this is service machine. This is not operating machine which we construct. A service machine, it serves invisibly. Bending moments are there, forces are there, moment resistances are there, deflections are there, shear forces are there, and what is not there in our say yield stress and plastic stress and collapse. We take so much consideration, but actually it works. It's not seen physically. If you conduct load tests, you will find deflections are there and deflection recoveries are also there. Vibrations are there. This means something is there. Vibrations are there. This means it's not failure. This means there is some resistance to those vibrations, which is important point. So I that's the reason I just try to talk a lot on this for your comprehension. अब रोटी खा लूंगा ना, अभी तो बनी हुई है रोटी, जरा सा दे दे फिर. Okay, no problem. Let's continue. Still my food is not ready. No problem. I take some hot liquid. So anyhow, howsoever you can say, civil engineer is different, I can claim. It's not like machine engineers or carvai engineer, electrical engineers, carvai means carvai, or electronics engineer or software engineers. Civil is called civil. Civil means real, public, civilized, but we are not civilized. You know, they call, some people call our workers as, labor. I don't like it, believe me, I don't like it. Actually, everyone is labor. But even I'm labor, you are labor. Because labor doesn't mean physical work. It means whatever work you do, that's labor. So why you call them labor? If you go to whatever country, because this labor ministry, what do you mean by that? I object to this. Though it's not in my hand, controls are not in my hand, but I object to this. Why are they laborers? And what you are? You are intellectual, they are labor. These people are so expert, this working team or work crew, that they do something and you sell that something. It's like factory workers who produce something based on some technology, and that factory sells that. Hey, you're selling in a different way. You're say on contract, already decide this price. There's no negotiation on that. There's no discount on that. Of course, warranty exists and maintenance also exists. So I consider that we are in such a field that makes everything that make cities, that make towns, that make villages, that make districts, and that make everything. You know, development, development is based on civil engineers originally. Originally, I am saying, others are there as contributors, like mechanical, electrical, basic contributors, and others also. They are contributors in different modes. So I should compliment myself and all you civil engineers and other mechanical electrical engineers that we are having different personality, different roles, and original roles. Original roles, I'm saying. Founding roles. It's not diplomatic roles. It's not administrative role. It's not political role, but real role. Real role. It is real role. Very, very real role. That role makes nations move, nations develop, city develops, whole world develops. And we imagine, say, assume that these people are not available. These people say they are not available, or they are not trained well. Trained well means they can be trained only on job. We cannot train them elsewhere. How? Can't. It's not small screw. It's not wrench. It's not hammer that they have to train with. It's not elemental skills. We have to think differently. Training of such crew also is an issue. Training, like training of engineers, is also an issue. It's an issue where to train. It's not machine training. It's not electric circuit training. It's different training where heavy amount, heavy materials, heavy machines are involved. So this training can be achieved only on real job. You can say reality-based training, not virtual training. Reality-based training means your training also costs a lot. You cannot say there's some video problem here. I think some there was 00 on both audio and video, so I just took a halt. It's very small quantity coming. Again, it's a 00, so I just want to hold. Maybe my voice doesn't go in, or my picture doesn't go in. Again, sometime it's coming now. Say for example, 38.9 kbps. This is video and audio is 11.6. Again 0 it is. I think this is going to end up soon. आई नहीं प्रमलाज? आई नहीं वो भी?
उसको पति बीमार है, गिर गया चक्कर खाते।
कहाँ गिर गया? अच्छा, बीमार ज़्यादा लग गई?
आपके?
हाँ?
आपके ऊपर लगी?
क्या हो रहा है? कोई बीमार होता है, कोई बीमार होता है। So I'm taking soup. Shall you share with me? Enjoy site work. Tomato soup. Because there's some time for food, so I'm enjoying the soup. Well, don't water your tongue. So I'm just saying training. Training is very significant part, and you have to train carpenters, you have to train steel fixers, you have to train masons, you have to train plumbers, you have to train everybody. And that can be done only on job, nowhere else. Means until those untrained people until those untrained people work on job in real role, they cannot get anything. They cannot get any exposure on work. There is no theory for them, no academics for them. How it can be? When engineers can't be trained in university, how can you expect these people to be trained somewhere else except on job? At this point, we have to understand very well. Means when somebody knows a little and somebody has capacity to learn physically as well as mentally, that person can be deployed for training with senior skilled person or foreman or charge hand. And that's very important, and this training cannot be achieved in one day. It takes few weeks and months and depends on capacity of that person you are training in. Or imparted training, you are imparting training to. If that person is sincere and that person expects progress, that can learn. Because this is a physical work as well as some mental work, measurement and how to see that. Building work, RCC work, structural steel work, block work, brick work, flooring. Every activity requires training. Every activity, even blinding concrete, waterproofing. And I know some intelligent, skilled persons can also learn some drawings. Working drawing means they can understand some drawings, use them. So that's, you can say, that's job training, and it depends upon staff level of professionals. I mean engineers, site engineer or associate engineers or project managers. What is their capacity? They can upgrade their people. That's also capacity building of engineer, or capability building, or you can say consistency building or competency building, whatever you can say, to grow people up. In addition to your own growth, your people should also grow. Not only your subordinate staff, also these crew should grow, because they are real machine part. Just like structure is a machine, your crew is also a machine, operating machine, and every member of crew is assembly part. If your crew you develop yourself. Just like if your staff you develop yourself. And if you develop them, they will treat you like your boss. They'll treat you their boss. Of course, you have to pay them for work done, but they will give you best output. Best output you'll get, and their output means it's your output. But it's you to develop. It's up to you how to develop. How you develop your junior, your subordinate, your frontline team, your crew. It's your capacity. I mean, how you develop them through your staff, and how you develop staff through your juniors, your subordinates, us. That shall be your reliability. They will do everything for you, provided they get paid, and you have to look after them, as you may be elder brother or you may be father. Like that, fatherly figure or parent figure or elder brother or friend. If you can do that, I think you are a skill developer. This point actually is very important, though it's lower profile point, but it's top profile point. Let me just think it. Because I'm doing some physical exercises in therapy, the physiotherapy, because of my fracture in leg, and I'm tired. And I went to this physiotherapy in noon time, and just 1 hour was therapy time. So I am warm now. Thank you for waiting. I'm warmed and heated, so I can talk more powerfully. I was talking about skills and development. If you have developed your people in every trade, every calling, in all trades, even if you develop some charge hand, some foreman, of course by virtue of experience, you can extract from this crew as well some charge hand. You can extract from those charge hands some foreman, some trades foreman, or site foreman, or general foreman. If you are able to do that, this is of course not very mathematical work, this involvement work. You have to involve with your foreman, You have to involve with your top foreman, general foreman, other foreman, sergeant, and many other people who can be for you, who have some leadership quality. Leader doesn't mean leader of that level, leader of front line, where there are sergeant leader, foreman leader, general foreman leader, supervisor leader, and there are so many within that team. And if you can encourage them to make more and more perfect job, you have to teach them. Teach means your sergeant has to teach, your foreman has to teach them, and you have to teach them first. You teach general foreman how to handle workers, how to handle activities. You have to teach your foreman how to handle detailed activities. You have to teach your sergeant how to directly handle them. If you can build hundreds of such people, such individuals, hundreds, and those hundreds can themselves train further hundreds or thousands. Means you can act as institution controller of skill development on your site. So your team becomes faculty of that skill development, and you are like an institution for those people, where they learn a lot. And once they learn, certainly they do that job. I think there should be no doubt in that. But it depends on your practice, how practical you are. What level of practical knowledge do you have? Sometimes you have many skilled people. When you join some project, you got already, and maybe you do not know something in practical work because you may be new. So silently you have to work to learn from them. And because you are an engineer, you can observe, you can see with what efficiency the person works. Maybe that person works sincerely. Okay, one time you watch, second time you watch, third time you question if that person wastes time. If you could reach that stage, that person understand you're observing, so that person would work efficiently. And when that person works efficiently, you can observe time, what time it takes, what time other guy takes, what time that takes. This analytical study you can record on your worksheet or somewhere for purpose of making it improved further. And if you reach that level, then that team is your team. And when machine is yours, all parts of machines are yours, belong to you. You know what you are. Well, I like it because you are an engineer. You are not exclusive for machine or material. You are not exclusive for human resources. You are exclusive for subcontractors. You are exclusive for your employer. You are exclusive for you are inclusive with everyone. And when you keep yourself in that position, your role widens. Your role, it enhances itself. It goes to more and more. It makes its own scope. Its own scope in prosecution team or execution team. And with respect, they will call you engineer or manager because you are helping them. You help them. And when you help someone, you help yourself. That's also true because once you help them, they are for you. Just like machine is for you. Yes, they make mistake, I understand. But you are there through your people to correct them. Okay, one chance everybody gets. If second chance is not done erroneously, you can digest that. Because mistake you also commit. I commit too. Everybody does. Mistake or error is human error. You cannot say, no, I am perfect, I never made any mistake. If you state that, you are a liar. I'm not. I made many mistakes. I agreed. I made mistakes on sites, in my career. I made mistakes in documentation, sometimes, not every time, sometimes. So, I made mistakes in coordination. I made mistakes in handling people. I made mistakes in maintenance of machines. Means it's sometimes casual mistakes. When you are not aware or somebody did not tell you what problem machine had and you did not walk through to make sure that machines are working. So, what I state here, during contract, calculations, everything, I think I have covered many minor details today, and it's you only who benefit, nobody else. Yes, you are spending time with workers, you're spending time with others, means you are learning. Once you learn, second time you will use that. If you do not know, you keep silent and learn. You answer only when it is required, and when you learn, certainly you will speak. Speak right. But again, my terminal is contractor. My destiny is contractor here in this talk, not in general. And because I am dependent on contractor as a consultant, I am dependent on contractor as engineer, I am dependent on contractor as employer, I am dependent on contractor as public, I am dependent on contractor in every role. I can't blame contractor if contractor works within requirements, within contractual scope, and contractor is sincere, professional, quality giver, efficient, regards contract conditions, regards work, and has professional team, then I have no right to pinpoint contractor, because contractor is absolutely professional. And when contractor is professional, I expect as an engineer, as a consultant, as an employer, work should be professional, delivery should be professional. And if I understand this point, then I am best judge of myself. Then I should have good professional working relations with that contractor in whatever capacity I am. Because just like contractor works, means contractor's crew works, and if contractor crew doesn't work, say okay, it will change, but the question of time. If I cannot utilize my team, my crew, this means I am inefficient. That's also true. As an engineer, as a contractor, my failure to utilize that resource optimally is my failure or something else. I am engineer, I should be expert. I should be expert. And if I'm not expert, I should get that expertise from some other source, or I should employ someone who has that caliber. And if I cannot do that, then I condemn myself, I quit myself from that job, because my reputation is more important. My performance, my time, presence is not important. I'm present all day. I say I'm present all day, 10 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. Okay, I'm present. But what is my performance? My presence is right, that's required. But that is not exclusively required. It's a part. If I am available, my work should speak. Just like we say your paper should speak, your petition should speak, my work should also speak of result, of quantification of work, of quality, time. And if I cannot achieve that, this means it's not my failure, it's failure of whole lot. And when there's a failure of lot, means it's failure of contractor, who's my employer. That contractor shall face losses. Ultimately, what shall do that contractor? He'll make loss to me or to you. This is chain. This is kind of supply chain, you can say. Therefore, I'm talking too serious an issue to be considered easily. It cannot be considered easily. It has to be considered in its entirety, thoroughly, uniformly as well as non-uniformly, homogeneously as well as heterogeneously, in whatever respect it works in. It should be considered. And if you cannot do that, you are cheating yourself. You are not